Have you ever met someone who turned your whole world upside down in just one day? My name is Clara, and I'm about to tell you a story that'll make you laugh, cry, and believe in the kindness of strangers. But here's the thing, by the end you'll wonder, was it really a stranger or was it fate? Stick around because this one's gonna hit you right in the heart. My name's Clara Thompson. I'm 62 and I've been running Clara's Diner in Maplewood for 30 years. It's a little place. Red booths, checkered floors, and the best apple pie this side of Vermont. Folks come for the coffee, stay for the stories, and leave with a smile. At least that's what they tell me. But lately, my smile's been harder to find. See, my husband Tom passed away 5 years ago. He was my rock, my laugh, my everything. We built this diner together. After he was gone, I kept it going. Kept his memory alive in every pancake I flipped, every joke I told. But deep down I was lonely. The kind of lonely that sits heavy like a winter coat you can't take off. Every day was the same. Open at 6 a.m., serve eggs and bacon, close at 8 p.m. Go home to an empty house. I talked to customers, folks like Old Man Jenkins who'd grumble about politics, or Sally, the librarian who loved my pie. But at night I'd sit with my tea, staring at Tom's old armchair, wondering if this was all life had left for me. Then one rainy Tuesday a stranger walked into my diner. He wasn't from Maplewood. He wasn't like anyone I'd ever met. And what he did next, well, it changed everything. But before I tell you, I want to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. It means the world to know you're out there listening. His name was Henry. At least that's what he said. He was maybe 60, with a scruffy beard, kind eyes, and a smile that felt like it carried 100 stories. He sat at the counter, ordered a black coffee, and said, "Clara, this place feels like home." I laughed. Nobody calls me by name unless they're a regular. How do you know my name? I asked. He pointed to my apron where Clara was stitched in red. I blushed. Silly me. Henry had a way of making you feel seen. He teased me about my coffee, strong enough to wake a bear, and got the whole diner laughing. Even Jenkins cracked a smile, and that man's face is usually stuck in a frown. Henry told stories about his travels, New Orleans, Montana, even Alaska. He said he was passing through Maplewood, just looking for a warm meal and good company. I thought, well, you found the meal at least. But there was something about Henry. He didn't just talk, he listened. When I mentioned Tom, his eyes softened. He asked about him, about the diner, about me. Nobody had asked me about me in years. I told him how Tom and I met at a county fair, how he danced with me in the kitchen to old Elvis records. Henry didn't interrupt. He just nodded like he understood every word I didn't say. Then Henry showed me a picture. It was faded, creased, like he'd carried it forever. And when I saw it, my heart stopped. I'm not gonna tell you what it was yet, but trust me, you'll want to know. Hit that like button if you're as curious as I was, and let's keep going. The photo was of a young couple laughing at a fair. The man looked like Tom, same crooked smile, same spark in his eyes. The woman, she could have been my sister. Henry said, "This was my brother Eddie and his wife Marie. They were my family." His voice cracked, and I knew there was pain behind those words. He said Eddie died young in a car accident, and Marie passed a few years later. That photo was all he had left. I don't know why, but I told Henry about Tom's accident. How he'd been driving home from a supply run when a truck lost control. How I'd blamed myself for years, thinking if I'd gone with him, maybe things would have been different. Henry reached across the counter, took my hand and said, "Clara, you can't carry that forever. You loved him. That's enough." His words hit me like a warm blanket on a cold night. Henry stayed past closing. He helped me stack chairs, told terrible puns about pie. What do you call a sad pie? A blueberry. And made me laugh until my sides hurt. For the first time in years, I didn't feel alone. But then he said something strange. "Clara, I'm not here by accident. I came to Maplewood for a reason." My stomach flipped. What did he mean? Before he could explain, the diner phone rang. It was Sally, the librarian, with an emergency. I had to leave. But Henry promised he'd be back tomorrow to tell me the truth. What was he hiding? If you're hooked, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming. I barely slept that night. Sally's emergency was a burst pipe at the library, and I'd helped her clean up, but my mind was on Henry. What did he mean? Not here by accident. Was he some kind of con artist? A long-lost cousin? My imagination was running wild. When I opened the diner, Henry was already there, sitting at the counter with 2 coffees, one for him, one for me. Henry handed me an envelope. Inside was a letter, written in Tom's handwriting. I froze. Where did you get this? I whispered. Henry said, Tom was my best friend in the army. We served together in '82. He wrote this letter for you, but he never got to give it to you. My hand shook as I read it. Tom wrote about how much he loved me, how he wanted me to keep smiling, even if he was gone. He said, Clara, you're my home. If I'm not there, find joy anyway. Henry told me he'd been carrying that letter for years, searching for me after Tom's accident. He'd promised Tom to deliver it if anything happened. Henry had fallen on hard times, lost his own family, but he kept his promise. He found me in Maplewood, not by chance but by heart. I cried not just for Tom, but for Henry's kindness, for keeping a promise across decades. What happened next? Let's just say the diner wasn't the same after that day. But before I tell you, drop a comment. Have you ever had a stranger change your life? Share your story, and let's see how many hearts we can touch together. Henry didn't just deliver a letter. He brought me back to life. After that day, he started coming to the diner every morning. He'd tell stories, help serve coffee, even try to flip pancakes. Spoiler, he's terrible at it. The regulars loved him. Jenkins stopped grumbling, Sally brought him books, and the kids in town called him Uncle Henry. Me? I started laughing again, really laughing. Henry and I became friends, real friends. Not the romantic kind, but the kind where you know someone's got your back. He moved to Maplewood, got a job fixing cars, and became part of our little town. One night, we sat in the diner after closing, sharing pie. I told him, Henry, you kept Tom's promise, but you gave me something too, hope. He grinned and said, Clara, you gave me a home. We're even. I framed Tom's letter and hung it by the counter. Customers read it and it started something. People shared their own stories of love, loss, kindness. The diner became more than a place for pie. It became a place for hearts to heal. I realized something. Life doesn't stop at 62. It's never too late to find joy, to make a friend, to start again. So that's my story. A stranger walked into my diner and reminded me to live. If this touched you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs a smile, and subscribe for more stories about real people, real hearts. Tell me in the comments, what's a moment that changed your life? And if you're ever in Maplewood, stop by Clara's Diner. The pie's on me.